Well, good evening and welcome. Or is it good morning, good afternoon, good day, and maybe to some of you, good night, but it's so good to be back with you. I hope I was missed because I missed you. This is Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, and I am Joy Ruffin. I am your leadership and style consultant, a signature style specialist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster, and it's all aligned. This is Wednesday night, and it's all about leading ladies, leaving legacies. And do I have a guest for you tonight? I love her intro. This is Vanessa C. Vida, I call her, because she is a vivacious butterfly of a lady. And you're going to discover that and find it out. What she's doing is fantastic. And I could go on and on about her bio and what she's doing and all the exciting endeavors that she's involved with in groups and committees and groups and everything. But I just want you to sit back and relax. Take it easy, whatever that means to you. And sit back and help me to welcome our featured guest speaker tonight, Vanessa C. Vida. Come on up, as they say. Vanessa, hello.
Hello, Joy.
Oh my God, Vanessa. I couldn't wait to get you here because I love the work that you're doing. I love everything about the energy and the zest that you have for life and what you're doing with everything. So why don't we start at the beginning? Let's start with, how did you come to this nonprofit organization that you have and what you're doing? What started it? Give us that little story.
It started with Jesus. Um,
Good.
yeah, I started off with my company, Mommy's Organic Workshop, and it started with the 2 oils that were taken to Jesus. Um, that the 3 kings, which I have my 3 kings, and quickly I was like, this is more than just a product. This is a movement. And I started that in December. And by April, I was invited to Mental Health Awareness Month in Orlando. And that year, which was 2016, they were concentrating on postpartum depression. And Brooke Shields was the keynote speaker. And I was told that, I had a voice and people listened. And I went through what I went through and people listened. And I shared my story and people listened and encouraged others to share their story. So it quickly became the Vida Postpartum Depression Foundation. And
I
Vida
love
was
it.
the name I wanted to name my daughter, which God blessed me with 3 boys.
Yes.
And so I was like, Vida, life, it's all about life and love. So
Oh
that's
my
how the
goodness.
Vida Postpartum Depression Foundation came about, because I was searching for something and there was nothing that was consistent, nothing that was close in Florida, because I was Orlando based at the time.
Yes.
So that's how it was arisen. Stacy McConkey, the head of pediatrics at Winnie Palmer Hospital, which,
Vanessa,
yes.
I love that. I love that. You know why I wanted you to share that? Because your nonprofit organization, which is all about postpartum depression and how you came about it and why you came. And I love that you started us with Jesus brought you to this. This is a movement. All of that is so relevant today because there's so many women out here after birthing these beautiful babies. All kinds of things happen. And it's not always glorious. It's not always exciting. And people don't talk about it. And yet, share with us very briefly, because you mentioned to me that you'd had these 3. I love it when you say the 3 kings. I love that because you're raising young boys into young men who have high regard and respect for women. There's nothing more glorious and fantastic than that. But tell us about what happened to you having these children late in life. Late, you're a young chickie right here and now, and I use chickie with love. But what gave you, what made you, I know you said it came to you through Jesus, but what actually happened that you said, I must do something about this? I must start something. I must do something because this is weighing on me and it's quite heavy. What was that?
Truly, I was inspired. My aunt literally told me, she goes, Vanessa, you have a voice. And I didn't even know you went through this because I didn't share it with everyone, only my immediate family, because I hid it.
Yes.
People didn't know that depressed person, because I am a social butterfly. I do bring joy and happiness.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when I go into, I like to call deep rest, I become, I turn into a bear and I just go into a cave. And I don't want anyone
Mm.
to see that part of me.
Mm.
So it was just, finding that there was nothing out there support system, and everything that was out there was all like hush hush, and it was hard to find. So
Yes,
that was the hard thing is that's why I've been told to change the name shorter. And I was like, no, because I'm not like stupid. And I hate to use that word on doing
I know what you
searches,
mean.
but
Yeah.
I could not find anything at that time. And
Yes.
this was back in 2016. I mean, we knew about Brooke Shields. We knew about, some people that talked about it. She got so much ridicule from a
Mhm,
lot of
mhm.
people, especially Scientology, which they're right in my backyard here. I'm in Tarpon Springs, Florida.
Really?
That's sort of funny, that big thing with Tom Cruise and Brooke Shields.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and they told me, the lead doctor and her told me, they're like, we've been praying for a person like you because you're not bound and gagged by pharma and by, Hollywood. You're free to speak. You're just, I'm just an ordinary woman, first generation American, born from Colombian parents in Queens, New York, moved to Florida, and I'm just an ordinary mom. And
Well, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear when you're saying I'm an ordinary mom, but I think you're far from an ordinary mom. There's nothing wrong with being ordinary, but I think you're far advanced from that. Bear in mind, I said there's nothing wrong with being ordinary, but that's not you, Vanessa. You've mentioned a lot of key words here that we want people who are really tuned in here to take to heart and soul. And that is postpartum depression is something that we have to take very seriously. And a lot of people are still hiding with that still because, and you also mentioned, I think 3 times thus far, and I love it. You have a voice and you don't have any shame or regret or whatever. You know that this needs to be out here. And that's what you're doing. And that's why you started this foundation. Tell us a little bit about the Vida Postpartum Depression Foundation. Tell us what you're offering there, what you're giving those women who need your guidance, your love, and your wisdom.
so it has really transformed a lot.
Yay, great.
I started off just doing events at my local coffee shop. And
Yeah.
so it was a safe place for women to come. And I would call it under Mommy's Organic Workshop. And I would do little workshops, with organic repurposing things and where moms can come. And I would have these events for free at the local coffee shop in Winter Garden, Florida. And then it started to like, okay, this is going to evolve to more. And I, would put out there, I'm available. I'm available. And I've spoken to people from the UK to Texas to Colombia that call me through Facebook Messenger, and they'll call me and share their stories with me. And they're in a time of desperation. During the hurricane, I had people call me that they needed a place to stay. They had escaped from
Mm.
their family trauma and drama, whether it be, their immediate family, whether it be their husbands, and how, this is how corrupt the family law division is. And they say it's about the children, but then they tear so many families apart. It's about
Mhm.
unity. And it's not always about the mother. And that's what the difference with
Mhm.
me. It's not just about the mother, it's about the unity of the family because it affects the entire family. My whole family was affected by it.
Of
And
course.
they didn't know how to deal with me. And they still don't know how to deal with me.
Well, after all,
And that's what it is. It's about uniting and bringing more awareness and having the compassion to understand what their
yeah.
triggers are. And it manifests differently on in different people. I mean, the stories I hear are just horrific. And I was very fortunate not to have the outcome that a lot of people have. And I mean, I've heard everything from where people thought that they literally were helicopters were flying over their heads and they, bunkered down for days on end. I've
Mm.
had
Ooh.
a family in Italy, a very prominent family in Italy. The mother locked her husband went away. She locked herself and she left something purposely on in the kitchen and they died overnight. The house went down in flames. And she purposely did it because she
Oh
left
my
a note
goodness.
to one of her friends. I hear all these stories. That's why 50
Well,
Shades of Red is going to be about the stories that I've heard because I share my story and people then share stories with me.
Well, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. And I want to really get to that because that has a lot of depth to it. But here's what I want to relay back to you, to expound a wee bit more on, because with my limited knowing and knowledge, but yet very much aware of what this can entail, you mentioned that key word there about unity and the family. And unless you're able to voice, and you said, people said you have a voice, use it, and you are. So you are to be applauded for that, because we need more women like you out here speaking to this. But unity, how do we get, and this is what your foundation is about. I heard what you said. You started off with the freebies in the coffee shops and so on. How do we get more and more women who are bearing these beautiful children, and maybe this happens to them, to know that there is an organization, a company, something that will afford them more awareness and insight as to why this is happening to them? I know it's you, but what else can we do?
I will have to say, since I started, I know in 2018, more traction came up. There are a lot more organizations now. And especially with like Serena Williams and Ryan Lochte and wife speaking about it, a lot of, people of high stature and that are in the limelight spoke of it. So that's bringing more awareness. So these are people that already are emulated. Now we need people that are ordinary. You know what, though,
Vanessa, let me stop you here for just a moment, because this is what you, me, all of us who are in leadership, whatever realm of leadership that is, this is what we have to do. I heard you say, and I received it, and everyone else has as well. Why do we have to wait for those who are in the celebrity fame category to bring to the fore what happens to each and every one of us, whether we're average, normal, ordinary or not? That's what's happened. But you stepped forward because you heard this lady speak, and then you decided you were going to do something. We need more women like you. You're famous. You always will be in your own right and your own knowing. But we need more women who are everyday, normal leaders, women, to step forward and build that unity and that family. So that's what you're doing.
It's just empowering women, and just, really, it's not about competition. It's about unity. It's not about being apart. It's about we're stronger together.
Always.
And with COVID, things split apart more. And women were on attraction with the Me movement. There's a lot of movements for women and humanity. And one thing I just want to say, we as women were brought into this world to nourish, and we lost our purpose because we wanted to, have, the best job, have this, have that. But if we truly concentrate on what our purpose was, which is to bring life to this world and to nourish that, and really focus on our children, maybe we wouldn't have all these issues that we're having with all this violence in school, all the bullying. If we were truly dedicated in our children are our future. We
Vanessa,
support them. Yes.
Vanessa, that's more profound. I'm looking for a higher word, a deeper word than you can ever imagine. And I want to come back to that. I want to piggyback to that. So keep that thought in mind, because we as women, we are here to nurture, but there's something else that's gone amiss. And I want to talk to that a wee bit, because it aligns with your foundation and what you're doing. And we're going to get to the 50 Shades of Red. I want to talk about that, but I'm going to take a quick little reset, and then I'm coming back, and I'm going to show you a poster towards the end where you're having a retreat in January. And I want to talk briefly about that. And then towards the end, I want you to expound more on it. So Carilla's going to put you in the green room, and I'll be back with you in just a second. We're going to talk about nourishing. That's why we're here. But how do we go about it? That's the key. My friends, do I bring you the most dynamic, vivacious women in the whole wide world? Yes, I do. From every strata. If you don't belong to my group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, well, I don't know why not, because you belong there. Every female, every woman, every lady that I bring you here on Wednesday nights is a member of Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. You need to go there and connect with them. Find a way to send a little love message and see if maybe there's some collaboration or way that you can work together, because we're all unique and we're all different, but yet we are, I loved her word, unify. That's what we're here to do. And here's the other thing that ties in with what we're talking about tonight. Human design, leadership at its highest vibration. It seeks you and me and Vanessa and all of these beautiful souls out here, especially women who are in the process of always getting to know the best of themselves. So if you're not sure and you have an inkling and you want to know more, this is my freebie to you. Please go and make sure that you test this and see what it means to you. I've done them all, and I'm here to tell you this is one of the very best. Everything is individual. Everything is unique to you, but see if it's going to be for you, because I can assure you that it will be. And I wanted to just show you Vanessa's poster that we're going to be talking about towards the end, Mind, Body, and Soul Retreat, which is coming up. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, you know that I always talk about mind, body, and soul connected, heart and soul connected. So that's what we're going to talk about. Vanessa, you mentioned that word nurture. Now, I listen and tune in and do my own research with a lot of different, because I'm all about, like you, and a different style of flavor, enabling women to be the catalyst to enable themselves to be all that we're here to be. And I heard this lovely lady, everybody knows her, Ilana Van Sant, say, we don't know how to be women. We know how to do what women do. And when you said that nurturing, that brought to mind that, because today in the casual mode, we're just adding on so much of stuff that we don't need. So how do we get back to knowing we can nurture and still be vivacious, still be women who are the divine portal that we're here to be? What's the secret? How do we do that?
I'm sorry. The secret?
The secret to being a woman who knows that she's here to be a nurturer, to be able to instill in others the foundational base to be all that they're here to be, and yet maintain your own identity.
Well, it's easier said than done.
I know.
Self-care, self-love. And, you know, as mothers, we sometimes forget to do that because we get wrapped up in, you know, having all these standards on being the optimal mom, worrying about all the criticism through social media and, you know, the Debbie Downers.
Yes.
And the Karens and the, you know, the sour Karens, which I hate that because I love Karens. But there are some Karens, and it's sad that, you know, now that's, you know, connected. But truly self-love. And also to have love and faith and belief, not only in yourself, but the Lord. And that's very important, because if you have God, then you're going to love yourself and you're going to love humanity. And that is an important thing for me is, you know, we were talking this morning with my boys, virtue. I always tell them patience is a virtue. As a mother, you need to have a lot of patience.
You do.
And, you know, and I don't want to say, you know, mothers that haven't, you know, there's mothers who are mothers to, you know, friends. There's mothers to four-legged animals. There's mothers to, you know, adopted, you know, children. So, you know, just because you didn't give birth to them doesn't mean you're not a mother. So I do want to say that there are mothers out there. I have various mothers. I have my wise woman, which, you know, her, Denise. So yeah, there's, you know, just self-love.
Vanessa, you answered the question quite well, though, because it is all about self-care, self-love, self-knowing, and they're all aligned and connected together. And that's why I do and promote this human design, because I know from my own experience and being on this planet for a while and researching and delving into everything, that get to know who you are first. That's a journey. It doesn't end. It's always ongoing. So I like that. Now, before we go here, the time just goes. Tell us about this 50 Shades of Red, Vida. I love the name. I remember there's another book with 50 Shades, but I'm not going to go there. Well, how did you call it 50 Shades of Red? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, because love is red.
Yeah.
Blood is red. Power is red.
I love that.
You can also say that, you know, another word for red, but I always think of it in a positive manner. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different shades. We go through so many, like a roller coaster of life. And there's the shades, you know, it even goes pink, you know, and then there's that deep red, and there's that, you know, there's all the fire red, the engine red, the candy apple red, red. I love red.
Power.
So, and it's power, and it's love.
Yes.
Love.
And when love is healthy, when love is right, and you feel it and you know it, it flows like blood. It's red. So I get that. But what is it that you're doing with this 50 Shades of Red? Is this going to be a book, a story? You mentioned earlier that so many stories you've heard.
Books. It's a
Ah.
multitude of books.
And when is this
So,
book going to be available? Uh-uh. I hear the note.
okay. So I have been writing this, and I like it's funny because I have books all around and I have all these, and literally everyone's like, when are you doing this? When are you gonna do it? When God wants me to. I literally had a ghostwriter ready to go last year. I
Uh-huh.
sent her all my pages to start the first, and we were like, which angle are we gonna go with, you know? And I went with this angle, and we were going this way, and I'm like, this is a multitude of books. So I like my goal, because I just need to do it. It's pretty much done, and there's various ones, is to hand it over to the right person, which I know that person, and he knows me and he coaches me a lot. So my goal is to celebrate my 48th birthday, to launch my book, and have all that Mother's Day, and that would be Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May of 2024.
Woohoo, good for you. Well, we'll say a prayer and hope that that comes about. Let me ask you something. I'm asking this because I have no shame, no blame, no regrets. And I know at this stage for me that there are no crazy, stupid, and I'm like you, I don't like that word and I don't use it for numerous reasons, questions. And it might be hard to answer, but if anyone can, I know you can. And I know it's varied. But what would you say would be the top 1, 2, 3 reasons why women deal with postpartum depression?
Well,
I know it's
drama.
hard.
Actually, they say the number one addiction is well, it depends on who you ask. I always
Yeah.
thought it was sugar, and
Ah,
actually, it's trauma. So it actually starts when we're children, and it just continues. So when you get to the point where you're a mother and you're going through all these hormonal changes of life and really losing yourself in your body, and this whole image, it is such a beautiful miracle. In the same time, it's like,
yes.
oh my God, what just happened? And you get so enthralled and focused on nurturing this child that it's just like, what
You
happened?
kind of lose yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
I never thought I would. I did. And it was like back to back to back. I had Sebastian 2 months before I turned 37. I had Leo at 39. And lo and behold, a major surprise, Simon at 41. And that was like,
woo-hoo-hoo.
what? I was still nursing it. And I'm like, how is this possible? How is this
Wow.
possible?
You know what you
So,
mentioned there, Vanessa, that's really for me as a layman and not having that much depth and awareness, but yet the layman's understanding of it is that sugar. I just gave up myself sugar almost will now be a year and a half going into 2, a little bit more. I didn't realize how deadly sugar can be. And I'm a deep Southern bred and born, raised Southern girl, and sugar and fat is part of the diet. But sugar can be deadly if you don't do it with moderation. And even then, it can't be good. But I don't know. I never thought that that would be a part of maybe postpartum depression. You mentioned trauma too. Trauma could be the losing of that body, the
and there's
shape, and
also
all
a
of that.
lot of factors. I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a lot of
No,
factors
it's
as
okay.
well, how the medical industry is today. It's so sad that we are the number one in medical, yet we have the highest fatality at birth.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
It's
This is
crazy
true.
bananas.
This is
And,
this.
it's the drugs they're giving us, the fact that they're not letting us have the babies naturally because they want to get in and out and they want to make that money. So I was very, I did my research. And even so, I was forced to have a C-section. Well, it came to the point where my son's, blood pressure was going down. I was in natural birth for 16 hours before I even took medication. They were begging me, please take the epidural. And I'm like, no. But I ended up having to cave. They gave me the epidural. But my doctor literally, it was an emergency C-section. He came in at 10:35 and 11:01. Sebastian was born, and it was so beautiful because we got to see a lot of things that my family did. I
Yeah.
literally was on the table having convulsions
Oh
because
my
of all the
God. Oh,
medications
no,
they
no,
were
no.
giving me.
Let,
So,
let me the work that you're doing, Vanessa, it's just so needed. I know that just my knowing. You're doing so much that's so good, and your organization, your nonprofit organization foundation, is really great. What type of free training are you offering to those who come to you? I know we're going to put up your poster. You're having a retreat, and you can talk about that towards the end, not right now. But what type of training when they come to you? Is it a Facebook group that you have? I ought to know this, and I do, but I want to hear it
I
from you.
do. I do have a Facebook group, and I'm
Yes.
not very diligent in it. I'm actually more on the IG Nation side of it. And
Uh-huh.
more of anything, it's just my words. I do inspire a lot of people. If they come to me, I can align them with variation treatments. I don't ever tell anyone to stop Western medicine,
Yes.
but I do go on the more holistic end of it. I work with
Mhm.
doctors from all around the world.
Ooh.
I do have my main doctors that I work with that have truly just, I feel like I'm one of those people when I meet someone, I absorb their knowledge and then they share with me because I
Isn't that,
want to know the information. And I
Vanessa?
power I have.
Breathe, 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 Vanessa. What you just said is a gift that you have been given. And I've heard you say several times, and I know this to be true. You have a voice and you're using it, and people are resonating to the authentic realness of you. And that's what it's all about. And whether it's Western or holistic or whatever, it's contingent upon the person and their environment and foundational upbringing. It's just great what you're doing. And I don't brown nose and I'm not sugarcoating what you're doing, but I know how much is needed because I know women after beginning and still in the process of discovering me. I know what we all go through. And that's why when you said earlier about this nurturing thing, that's what we're here mainly to do. I think a lot of us has dropped the ball in that regard. And we're attempting too much so to be admired, and we hunger. And as one of my friends said to me, we thirst for attention, but not the right attention. So bravo to you. Now, tell us a little bit, because the time flies here. I'm going to ask Kirill to put up your poster and leave it up for a second while you tell us a little bit about the retreat that you're offering, and then we can take it from there. So
Okay.
tell us
So
about that.
I was so blessed to be at the right place at the right time and connected with the right people. And it all
Yes.
started with a vision that was really amplified when I connected with doctors in Colombia, which actually Dr. Valar was a doctor here in the US and left and retired.
Uh-huh.
And he connected me to other doctors, and they were just, it was crazy. I met the one doctor, I was in Barranquilla, Colombia, and he had a recovery boutique hotel that my mom
Uh-huh.
would go all the time because frequents Colombia. She's Colombian and she does the carnivals. And my son had a fever. We stayed an extra night. We got to talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm treating him with frankincense and peppermint. And he was just teething, so he had a fever. That discussion turned into, here, you need to talk to my friend. And the friend's like, I'm coming to meet you. And not only did he bring one other doctor, in the midst of it, he called two other doctors. He's like, you need to come and listen to this girl. They invited me to their clinic. I got a whole bunch of treatments. And in that, I really connected not just with Valar, but Dr. Bustamante, who is the person who is helping me. And he works with doctors from all the way to Switzerland. He sets up hospitals in Dubai and all
Oh my
around the
goodness.
world. Speaker.
Vanessa,
He's amazing.
isn't it beautiful how that happens?
Yes.
How that happens. You're at this carnival and in your home state, country rather, and Zoom, you meet these people who are helping and supporting you to do what you're all about. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Listen, my love, the time flies here. It goes so quickly. 30
Yes, it
minutes, boom,
does.
boom, boom. But
Yes,
you have
it
so much
does.
to share. You must come back again and again, because I really do applaud the work that you're doing, because I know how much it's needed. And
Yeah.
whatever you do, don't stop.
Thank
And
you.
I can hardly wait to see those three kings that you're raising to
Hey, you can
really.
check them out. Just follow me on Facebook or IG, the Vida PPD on
Yes.
IG and
Well,
here
my
on Facebook. And
Kirill is
my
running across all of your links and everything, and you're going to get this video and the audio, and then it's going to go
thank
out
you.
everywhere. So we have some message from the viewers, and we haven't been able to scroll them across, but you'll be able to get them later. I think what somebody said, Ryan, is get rid of my child's anxiety, depression, autism, and all of that. So you have a lot of work cut out for you, but no one is better suited for it than you are. And that voice that you mentioned, keep using it, keep applying it. My dear, I'm going to put you in the green room. Bye-bye for
Okay.
now. and I'll be back with you in just a second. My friends, the time every week, it's the same verbiage. I should have a recorder and just push the button. But thank you for being here and sharing time and space with us. We love good company, and we know how active everyone is, and that most of you do the replay. It's okay. It's all right. Be and stay well. Look after you first, as Vanessa has said, so that you can look after all of the people who need you. Much love. Always from my heart to your heart. Be and stay well. Cheers. Good night. Cheers.